Good evening from New Jersey. You know what time it is? It's time for a MASH New Jersey monthly meeting. Where? At Untied. Sure, let's check it out. Should be a good meeting. Nice day, too, in Jersey. Cheers.
And based on the American Amber style, decide which one you like better. One or the other, and that's it. And then afterward, we'll both talk about the beers.
Congrats also to Ray for making a thank Ray. Beers had many points. Hail to the Chiefs next time Rich wins, we play Hail to the Chiefs. Yeah.
Be honest, but to some extent we're all sitting around drinking. If you want more honest feedback, you just rate my homebrew. Then you can get anonymous feedback through that. If you want to get feedback from people you've never met, enter competitions. It's not that hard. You can enter them in-state. We do a lot of muling around for the New Jersey, the New York, the Pennsylvania competitions. But you can also ship, and it's not hard to ship other entries.
Yeah, and we, Paul and I are probably the craziest in the club for this. We actually do this quite a bit.
Probably. Certainly.
Not probably, certainly. You're certainly the craziest. And we just wanted to kind of break it down because I know sometimes it can be hard to sort of like, if you're new to brewing, like maybe my beers won't compete, or even if you've competed a lot, you're like, well, I'm not going to send my stuff out of state. So we want to just like kind of simplify it a little bit and say it's easier than you think. And when I go to a competition and judge and I see the Georgia Malt Monkeys and the Arizona Society of Homebrewers and these same carpetbaggers that all the time are coming and like, you know, winning competitions all over the place, I'd like to see us doing that hard thing as well, right? So it would be great to kind of like, we can inspire a couple of other folks in the club to you know, step up and try competing in some of these. There are hundreds of these. I don't know how many there are in a year. There would have to be 500 in a year. They're definitely in every state. There is a list, a handy list with links at the NHC site, at the BJCP site. So you can just look month by month out ahead and see what's available. And if you are remotely curious about one, sign up and register. It's free to register. You can always change your mind and not pay them later. And then as it gets closer, you will have to you know, make your decision. I'm going to send 3 beers, I'm going to send 2 beers, so it's going to cost me. The average, I think, is about
$12 an entry?
Yeah, there are some that are as little as 8, there are some that are 15, but a good average is like 10 or 12 bucks an entry. An entry is usually 2 bottles, sometimes 3 bottles, really never more than that. And so, and Paul turned me on to a really great packaging technique, because that's the last piece of the puzzle, right? You've already got your beer in bottles, but here's this Georgia competition. What am I going to do about it?
WhalePodShippers.com, Google it. I think I posted it in Slack a few months ago.
Yeah.
So it's gone now.
It's probably gone.
It is gone now.
But
Anyone who's interested, just reach out to Paul and Keith, and they can get you in the right direction.
Because with enough interest, like we can get a bulk shipment of them and make them even cheaper.
Yep.
And then I bought like this fragile stickers for like $4, and I stick a couple fragile stickers on the side, and then you just send it over, and now you're done. And
You ship it UPS, FedEx?
you ship it UPS, and it's if you can't send it through the post office because it's illegal to send alcohol through the post office. UPS frowns on it, but what you do is you remind them that these are yeast samples when they ask you what they are, which they are.
Competition entries is also a great thing to write. Find a CVS that you can drop them off at. They are not paid enough to care.
UPS themselves don't really care if you say yeast samples. That's my usual thing. The guy says, yeast samples? And I'm like, yes, more yeast samples. I have a bunch of yeast samples for you. All the different competitions around the country all have their own strategies for meddling and doing different things. So, you know, Nevada's has a little shape of Nevada on it. This one's from the Morris Area Society of Homebrewers. It's a ribbon. You know, Michigan is this big, heavy brass metal thing. Here, you drop that loud for the sake. This, Paul, you want to talk about this guy?
All right, this is, so you frequently also get prizes for best of show places. This was the New York City Homebrew Alley Best of Show from last year. So every year, whoever wins that first place gets this giant, gaudy wrestling belt that I kind of love. I was sad to not repeat this year, but so it goes. But it's kind of fun to see what you can get from different states and around the country as you enter more, get feedback, tweak your beer recipes, and fine tune.
So how often do you wear that to work?
I have this in my background at work, so it's just behind me.
So every day is what you're
Yes,
saying.
absolutely. That does happen a lot, and it's important to submit your beer to multiple competitions, because this is, as much as Chris trains us, we learn, we practice, it's inherently a human activity. So there will be variance in the feedback you get, and it's really important to take all of that and aggregate it, taste your beer yourself, see what you can find and match to it. A lot of times I'll find that the Hafa will do really well the first month that I brew it, and then proceed to just nosedive to the point that I think it got a 28 homebrew out, and it won Garden State a month and changed it. So it's keeping your beers fresh and also seeing what different judges know, how they perceive it. There is variance in this. The only thing you can do is make the best beer you can make.
It's true. There's a lot of variance, and you can never kind of rely on just one competition that you send it to, because you might have gotten some pair of judges that aren't sensitive to the mistake that's in your beer, or you might have two that just had 4 terrible beers and now here's your good beer. We've talked about before, they're kind of like I didn't prepare this, but there are like 5 or 6 kinds of luck. There's the luck of the draw. Where did you end up in the flight? If you're the very first one, maybe no one's prepared to give you a 40, even if you have a 40 beer. There's still just kind of, but if you've come between 2 bad ones and just before, so there's that. There's the luck of transport, right? Your beer can, especially like if you have a high carbonated beer, it can leak a little bit maybe in transport, and now you get dinged for it being low.
You're shipping to San Diego in the summer in the back of the UPS truck.
Yeah,
If you've got any flaws in your beer, that's going to get really drawn out.
right. So, and also you can see there's like the luck of the table. You don't know what things are going to be united into one table, right? Like you might have your Belgians are strong at a great big competition might be just with like a big beers table, or it might be at a Belgians table at a smaller competition that combines singles, doubles, triples, and monastics or something. So it's a little bit of a crapshoot. You get different scores all the time, but you do over time, I think, get a good general sense of how your beers are, and you get lots and lots of feedback, which is great. Not all useful, but a lot.
Yep. Happy to talk process and technique with anybody that wants to do it, but just for the sake of keeping this short, I really don't care about your hot side. Very rarely will you screw up a beer on hot side. Keith and I could not have more dramatically different hot sides. Most of your problems are cold side. Make sure your yeast health is good, make sure your yeast is not expired, make sure your sanitation is good once you're cold side. Once you have those dialed in, then you can go back and start tweaking hot side. But almost all of the beers that get dinged have a cold side.
So to Paul's point, most of the way you can make your beer better is definitely on that cold side, controlling the fermentation, controlling your sanitation, all that kind of stuff. And then when you kind of master that, where we're maybe getting to now, then you can start to go and start to improve the hot